Hi there, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I have a full face first impression. Almost full face. I have accumulated a bunch of beauty items from luxury makeup brands, and I decided to try them all together and see how it goes. Some of the items I got from my Sephora haul recently. If you haven't checked out that video, I will leave a link up here. Without further ado, let's get started. For primer, I got the Beiges Illuminatrice Glowing Makeup Primer. It's supposed to be moisturizing, plumping, and prep the skin for the makeup application. I'm not sure about plumping, but it does feel very hydrating. Whenever I saw an illuminating primer, I instantly want to skip it. To me, illuminating primer always gives you a very high shine, or sometimes even glittery. It always have a slippery texture to it. The ones I tried before, I'm not a huge fan of. I'm not sure if you can tell, it sinks right into the skin. It leaves a very hydrated and soft base afterwards. I do see a very settled shine. It's almost like those glass skin effect. My Chanel lady at the mall just keeps saying, just try it. And I was like, I'm not sure about the illuminating primer. And as soon as I start blending it out on the back of my hand, I was like, ooh, oh. And then I instantly bought it. Of course. So I finally got a chance to try it on my face. I do really enjoy it. Next, I have the Beiges Water Fresh Complexion Touch in the shade B20 from Chanel. I'm always a huge fan of the Beiges line. It's just a really nice, refreshing, minimum makeup looks. It's super easy to use on a daily basis. You don't have to care too much about how precise you're applying anything. And the Beiges Water Fresh tint is my all-time favorite. For those two, it has similar concept where it has the pigment encapsulated with the solution. So when you apply it, you're supposed to dab it to break the pigment and then blend it out on the skin. So for the Complexion Touch, it definitely has a higher coverage. I just realized it's a 20 ml bottle, but it's definitely a higher coverage, so you need less product to apply the whole face. So for the Complexion Touch, it comes with a mini brush. It's a very interesting brush to me because it's kind of like a taper pointy brush and it's fairly small, where the water tint comes with a bigger flat top kabuki brush. To me, this is more of like a foundation brush. This one might be more of like a concealer. Am I mistaken it? This should be a foundation, right? Brush-wise, I do prefer the one that comes with the previous water tint. In general, I do prefer light to medium, even your skin out type of coverage. So for now, I do prefer the water tint a bit more. It's just super easy to work with. This one, because it has a higher coverage, I do find it's a little too much for my liking. For the Water Fresh tint, I'm in the shade medium light, and for the concealer, I'm using B20, so that's why I grabbed the B20 for the Complexion Touch. I don't mind it for now, but I do want to play around with it a bit more. I do want to use different brushes than the one it comes with, and typically I spray my brush with a setting spray. Today I didn't. I just want to see how out of the box it works on the skin. Next, concealer. So I have the Armani Power Fabric High Coverage Stretchable Concealer in the shade number 5. I'm not too sure what does it mean by stretchable, but I'm assuming it just means it blends really well. It has a very interesting applicator. Instead of the traditional doe foot wand that has a well inside to have the product, this one is just straight up flat. It does have a pointy end, so it's great for precision application. It's very soft to the touch, super easy to blend out. So far, I really like it. Ever since we start wearing masks, I'm always just wearing concealers all over my face, focusing on under eye area, center of the face, and then when I'm wearing mask, I'm all good. So I really want to see if I can wear this concealer by itself. I have high hope for it. After concealer, let's talk about powder. I have the Chanel Natural Finish Loose Powder in the shade number 20. I always heard good things about Chanel powders, and now I finally get a chance to try it. I believe it comes in quite a few different shades, from 10 all the way to 60. I grabbed the shade 20, just use a fluffy brush all over my face. I really like how it turned out. With all those layers, my skin can still remain somewhat natural look. I like that. Finally, let's talk about the eyeshadow palette. It's the Tom Ford Eye Color Quad Cream in the shade number 38 Velours Khaki. I said I really want to get the purple one. By the time I go back to Sephora, it disappeared. I can't even find the palette saying out of stock. It just disappeared. So for today's look, I have the top peachy shade all over my lid just to set the concealer down and as a really nice base. And then I have the shade underneath it for the outer corner to give it a little smokiness. And then I have the shade besides the peachy shade all over the lid. It has a really subtle sheen to it, which I really like. And then for the last shade, I have it outer corner for both top and bottom lash lines, just to give it some depth. I really like how it turned out. It's slightly on the edge of my comfort zone. I typically go for a neutral, very subtle look, but I really like one palette inspired me to jump out of the box and do something I don't typically do. Next, I have the Pillow Talk Push-Up Lashes in the shade Dream Pop. That's the burgundy shade I got during the Sephora haul. I'm not sure if you can tell on camera, but I specifically didn't use a lash primer. I just want to see by itself if the red's gonna show up. In the mirror, I can definitely see it. It's just my lashes are super tiny, so typically up close you will see a hint of color to it. But so far I really like the formula, especially for the mascara wand. It's such a unique shape. It's flat, but then it has two different lengths of the bristles. So the very tip, it's so easy to apply for the bottom lashes, and then the longer part is very nicely combed through my top lashes. So far I really like it. For bronzer, I didn't have a brand new one that I can open out of the box, but I have one from the summertime. Is the Chanel Oversize Healthy Glow Sun-Kissed Powder in the shade Sun-Kissed Medium. So this is one of the first oversized pan they came out during the past summer. I'm not expecting it to like contour my face, and in fact I'm not good at contouring at all, so I just want something at the outer rim, especially when I find the complexion product I'm using is a little bit too light for my liking. Bronzer is a really good option. It has a very beautiful subtle glow to it. It's just like the name, it's very sun-kissed. For blush, I have the Dior Rouge blush in the shade 826 Galactic. Is that how you say it? It is one of the limited edition holiday collection ones. I did grab both of the blushes. For Dior holiday collections, I only grabbed the two blushes. Me personally is a huge fan of their quints. It's just for this year the color story is not screaming to me, so I decide to pass it. Same thing with the lip kit, where you get one full lipstick and 4 refills and a really beautiful clutch. Last year it was a gold clutch. It's super pretty. This year it's a pure black. It's just in comparison, I still like the gold more, so I didn't grab it this year either. So for highlight, I used the Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm Beauty Light Wand in the shade Pinkgasm. I was semi-panicking because I set my whole face already when I realized I need to use a cream highlighter. But to my surprise, it applies beautifully. I don't know if it's because I didn't directly use the wand on my face. I use it on the back of my hand and then apply it with my fingertips. It looks very natural. I really like it. Did you see that shine just on top of my cheekbone? That's incredible. Not only I put it on top of my setting powder, I put the blush afterwards, and I decided to go in with my powder brush all over my face just to infuse everything together. The shine is still there. I'm impressed. Last but not least, I have the Guerlain Rouge G lipsticks. I'm not sure if it's a limited edition, but this is the one that newly launched. For Guerlain's Rouge G lipsticks, you do need to buy two components. So you want to buy the actual lipstick. You do need to buy the case separately. The nice thing about the case is that every case comes with a little mirror. So it's super nice when you're on the go and you just need a little touch up. It's super handy. And then the mirror is like automatically open. To lock it closed, you do need the actual lipstick so that it can stay shut. I do like this idea so that you can customize your own lipsticks, and once you get the case, you don't have to repurchase another one if you don't want to. All you need is a different lipsticks. When you purchase the lipsticks, there is a little cap on top that you can have your lipsticks protected. This way, whenever you want to change it out, you can just put the mini cap back on top and put the new one in the case. Of course, the downside of this is that the cost is kind of high up there. I don't own a lot of Rouge G lipsticks because of the price point, but whenever there is a sale going on or like a points deal, I will grab it. For Rouge G lipsticks, there are so many different shades and so many different finishes. Previously, I really enjoyed the Velvet Matte. It's such a beautiful soft finish. For this one, it's a metallic matte. When I first saw the finish, metallic matte, I was like, what? It doesn't make much sense. It's so hard to tell because the shine only comes through under different lighting. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but most of the time it looks matte, but just one light catches it. It's a really nice, beautiful sheen on top. Basically, the concept behind this finish is to mimic the wings of the butterflies. So for butterflies, they are super colorful, but their wings always have a really nice sheen finish, but nothing overboard. Even the case, they came out with 3 different ones that has the wings of the butterfly patterns on it. I really enjoy the formula more than I thought I would, because typically I don't like a high shine lipsticks. But this one is just right amount of the sheen, nothing overboard. That's everything for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below, which one have you ever tried? Do you really enjoyed it? Is there any luxe beauty makeup that you can live without? Let me know. If you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!